I don't think that's how they wanted me to do it, but you know what? As long as it passes the test. Oh my god, I even fucking broke Python too. Hey guys, hope quarantine's okay. I know the semester's almost over, so we're done with Zoom University if you're in class. But you know me, I've been working and I've been kind of missing school. But you know what I don't miss? I don't miss homeworks, I don't miss my labs, I don't miss my midterms. And that's why in today's video, we're going to be redoing the first ever CS homework I ever had. And also, if you're going to report me for showing this homework and like all the answers that I'll be coming up with, all this is public online. You just go on this website that you'll see on the screen. So yeah, you don't have to go to Berkeley to do this. Just hop on the website and try it yourself. And also, I'm really rusty on Python, which is the language we're going to be using today. And yeah, I apologize in advance, but let's see how it goes. So we first got to go on the website. The intro class is called 61A. And on the right, you can see here, homework and solutions. So like I said, this is all public, don't report me. So yeah, we gotta first go here, and our website's pretty nice. They always put in the questions on the website, and you can download the zip file. So that's what we're gonna be doing right here. So have the zip, extract it, and yeah, we have this whole thing. I'm just gonna open it in Sublime, and cool. So we have an OK file, which will be how you run the autograder, which is you can run a command line to see if you pass the test cases. Then we have a Python file. Now we have all these questions. So let's see how many questions this homework has. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6 questions. Okay. Oh wait, the first question is a syllabus quiz, so we're not doing that because we're not actually in this class, unless you're me in spring 2017. And also, just a shout out too, for this class, they do a lot of video tutorials going through homeworks, past midterms, and things like that. So if you do take this class, tons of resources too. This video is just kind of just for entertainment. But yeah, let's do question 2. So the first question is a plus abs b. Fill in the blanks in the following function for adding a to the absolute value of b without calling abs. So abs is like a function in Python. It'll give the absolute value of b. So like if I do abs of -1, I'll get 1. You may not modify any of the provided code other than the 2 blanks. Another thing about the homeworks and projects that we get for the first intro class, later on you have to implement a lot of stuff from scratch, but for the intro class, they actually fill in a lot of skeleton code for you, so it's more like filling in the blank. It's not writing code out of nothing. So they already write the method for you, they give you parameters. It's more just like fill in this line of logic that will solve the problem for you. So I think it's a really great way to start. So this question here we see matches with it, and we return a plus absolute value of b. Okay, so it returns h of a b. What the fuck? They give you some examples here. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 plus -3 is normally -1, but absolute value of this is 3, so we get 5. Okay, it's pretty simple. So if b is greater than or equals 0, we do this normal thing. H equals, oh, what the f? H equals something. So we just know we have to return h of ab. So h is going to be a function because it takes in parameters. So h equals, and we can't use abs because we're blocked from doing it. So we can either use add or sub, as we can see from this import. I know what we need to do now. So h, if it's normal, then just normally add. So you don't do anything different, you just do add AB. Oh, but we don't need to do it because we already use it here. And otherwise, if we want to convert a negative number to a positive number, we just subtract from it. So 2 minus -3 is the same thing as 2 plus 3. So if it's negative, we will do sub. And that should work. Next question is 2 of, oh, we can actually test our initial, the question before was just this. Let's do that. So CD downloads homework 0. Sure we have the right files. Okay, so the OK file is the thing we use to run a test, and then I can copy and paste that. There we go. Abs, B, abs, and then B. Run it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Computer's so slow. What? Oh, it's not saved. Oh, dude, I remember when I was a freshman, I forgot to save my file, and like I was debugging it for like an hour and a half because I thought I did something wrong. But I didn't read the output of my terminal. As we can see here, it says this thing's not defined. It's because before we changed it, h equal to underscore stuff. So I saved it. Let's run it one more time. Oh, I need to authenticate my account. Wait, bro, I think I can't even do this video. Oh, can I use my account? Okay, I think I finessed it. I think we can still use this. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Wait, backup successful for users. All right, cool. I graduated, but I still extended my school email by like 6 months because we can do it for free. So it's a good thing I did it for this video. Wait, let's run it one more time. Running test. 1 test case passed, no cases failed. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next question. Write a function that takes 3 positive numbers and returns the sum of the squares of the 2 smallest numbers. So they do a lot of things like this too. You can like write a hodgepodge amount of code and like brute force things, but they try to teach us to write efficient, clean code. So sometimes they're like, you know, you can only use 1 line of code to answer this question. So we're gonna have to do that for this one. You need to find the 2 smallest numbers of the 3 and just return the sum of the squares. And we just go through these examples. So 1 and 2 are the smallest ones. So 1 squared plus 2 squared, 1 plus 4, 5, 5, 3, 1. So 1 and 3 are the smallest numbers. 1 squared plus 3 squared, 1 plus 9 is 10. Return. Oh, we can return min of max of. Oh, okay, I see. I know what to do. We gotta use min like 3 times, I think. We gotta like min each permutation of the 3, and then min the. So the true min of the 3 will be from this result, and then we don't know which ones are the actual min, so we will have to use min of xy, and then min of yz, and then min of. Dude, I could be completely drunk right now. I have no idea. Oh, we can just find the max and use the other 2 numbers. This is kind of cheapo, but normally if you sum all the squares together, it'd be like x squared plus y squared plus z squared. Let's say z is the highest number. So we just subtract z squared out of that summation, and then we'll get x squared plus y squared, which will be our answer. I don't think that's how they wanted me to do it, but you know what? As long as it passes the test case, we're chilling. X squared plus y squared plus z squared minus math.max of x, y, z. Oh wait, I don't need to do math.max. Do what? Oh, we don't need to use math.max, sorry. Take out the math.max, save it, copy this thing right here, paste that. It's gonna work, it's gonna work. 1 test case passed, no cases failed. So let's go to the next question, which is largest factors. Write a function that takes an integer x that is greater than 1 and returns the largest integer that is smaller than x and evenly divides by x. What is even? Does evenly divide just mean normal divide? Hint. To see if b evenly divides a, you can use the expression a % b. I'm just joking, it's called mod. So what mod is when you divide a number, sometimes you get a remainder, right? So mod will just give you the remainder of that division. So for example, let's just say 5 divided by 2, that's 2 remainder 1. So if I did 5 mod 2, I would just get 1 as my result. Oh, this is a simpler way of saying it, which can be read as the remainder of dividing a by b is 0. We always know 1's going to be a factor of a number because you can always divide a number by 1. And then let's go to the examples. Largest factor 80. So factors are 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, blah, 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 40. So the biggest factor of 80 is 40, right? What we can do is we start with the smaller factors. So go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and onwards. And then once we hit an even divide where it's like, oh, 80 divided by 2 is a clean 40, then we know 40 is going to be the largest factor because the smallest factor will always be with the largest factor to create your number when you multiply. But we can't use 80 because this question says we have to return the one that is smaller than x. So then we go to the next factor, which is 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40. And the next largest factor would be 20 when we divide by 4. So we're going to go from 1 to x divided by 2. And we just want to check if the mod equals 0. So the logic I'm thinking right now, let's just try it out. So code's right here. Got to write a for loop. So we won't check 1 because that's like the case we can't use. From 2 to x divided by 2. If we get a clean divide, which remember is x mod I in this case, because that's the smaller factor we're looping through, equals 0, then we have a clean divide. We'll just return x mod, not x mod I, we would return x divided by I, because that would be the factor that we're using. So like again, if 80 mod 2 is 0, 80 divided by 2 is 40, remainder 0, then we will return 80 divided by 2, which is 40, the largest factor. I always like to use examples just to double check that my logic's right. Otherwise, if we don't get a clean divide, we'll have to move on to the next factor. With that, we just do I plus equals 1. Kind of like in Java in the for loop, you do I plus plus as the third parameter. If we go through this and none of it works, then we have to default to the factor that always works, which is 1. So that's the case here. So we have our exit case here when we do find a match. Otherwise, we just return 1 when we don't find a largest factor. Let's run this. Copy this largest factor, bam, bam. Go to my terminal that looks ugly because I haven't customized it. Shit, I got some errors. Float object cannot be interpreted as an. Oh, I forgot Python. If you divide by number, that gives you a float, but we need integers for ranges. So what you can do is double divide. Double divide means it takes out the remainder. So if I did 5 divided by 2, normally in Python it'll give you 2.5 because that's the actual value, right? But that's a float, which means it has decimals. If you just want integers, the double divide cuts out the decimals. So 5 double divided by 2 will just give you 2. Oh, wait. Actually, the number we return might need to be integer 2. Let me just double check because a factor will always be a clean number. Ah, shit, yeah, I'm right. So you can see here in the error, we expected 5, but we got 5.0. Well, you'd be like, dude, what the heck? That's the right answer, right? But with the autograder, you know, it's not too lenient, so we got to change it up to an integer. And we know this double divide won't truncate or cut out a decimal at the end because in this if case, we check to see if there's a remainder in the first place. So There we go. One test case passed, no cases failed. This was the first homework, so it's one test case, but later on there's going to be like hundreds of, like edge cases, invalid input. You got to do a lot of if cases and like just handle those type of errors. So this homework is a lot easier than it is later on. But yeah, we got that question. Let's move on to the next one. If function versus statement. Let's try to write a function that does the same thing as an if statement. Return true result if condition is a true value and false result otherwise. This is a condition we take in. So if true, we return the true result. So is true true? Yeah, it's true. So then we would return the first result, which is 2. So the second parameter will be what we return if the first parameter is a true statement. Otherwise, if the first parameter is a false statement, we return the third parameter. So like in this case, does 3 equal 2? Hell no, unless you're in some other type of world. So that's false, so we're going to return 3 minus 2, which is 1. And that's what we return. Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes they just word these things really weird. Despite the dog test above, this function actually does not do the same thing as an if statement in all cases. Well, I've been baited. To prove this fact, write function C, T, and F such that with if statement prints the number 6, but with if function prints both 5 and 6. Oh, so they already wrote these things. We just need to write what C, T, and F stand for. So we just need to figure out the difference between how this format is different between this format. And our if function is the function that they gave us earlier before. So we're actually just comparing straight up like a if-else statement versus if function that should theoretically work as same as a Python if statement. So what's the common denominator between the two? So both of them will have to print 6, but then our own function will have to print 5 also. So the only thing I can think of is that for one of the cases, which is when we use the if function, it evaluates one of the parameters that we don't evaluate if we use a normal if condition. Oh, I think the way Python reads code, it will evaluate the entire method call before we go into it. So I think it will call these 3 parameters even if we don't actually use it in the function? I'm just completely guessing. I know one of these has to be print 6, I know the other one has to be print 5, so let's just see. So we want the if function to print both. Oh, but if this prints both, it'll first print 6. It wants us to print 5 first, okay, so it needs to be swapped. So what I'm thinking is, when you call return if function here, so if you have a parentheses after the name of the function, it'll actually call that function, or like it'll actually evaluate it. So C, it'll be some function, T, we'll call it, which will print 5, and F, it'll call it again, which will print 6. I'm either on something or I'm completely wrong. Let's just hope it works. So that will print the 5 and the 6, but then when we go into the if function, because this is what we're actually doing, we don't want to return any, oh, I see. A print statement returns nothing. It just prints something onto your computer. So if I do print 5, I'll have 5 on my output on my computer, but if I do return print 5, like return and then parentheses, I can just type right here. Let me show you. If I do like return print 5, this statement, you will have a 5 on your computer, but this return value will be nothing. So you don't get anything. We want this to return nothing, which is correct. Oh, dude, I actually did this right. If it's true or false, it doesn't matter because this return value will be nothing. So what we gotta figure out now is when we do the other statement, which is the normal if-else case here, we just want to print 6. The returns will both be nothing, so we don't have to worry about what we're returning. We just need to see if C, what do we print? Print 6. And 6 goes with false, so it will look like this. It'll be like return. Oh my god, this is not Java. I'm so sorry, this is how I do. How do you do? Oh yeah, hashtag or pound sign. I'm sorry. If I do return of print 6, I will print 6 on the computer screen, but this return value is nothing. So I think that's correct because that will match what we wanted, which is this if function only printing 6, whereas this with if function should be printing 5 and 6. So we want it to be on the false result. So we want the condition to be false. So C is the condition that we use here. So we just want this to be false. If that's kind of confusing, I completely agree with you. Like, imagine, dude, you just learned Python for 1 week and now you're doing this homework. If you're not working with friends or you had coding experience before this, like, it's actually really confusing. This returns false. Okay, I think this should be correct. Let's try running it. So we gotta test 2 of them. So the first one's the if statement, which only will print 6, which should work. Let's see. Hello? Oh, my computer just got slow. Yeah, we're good. So that one passed. And I can review one more time why they're different. Please work. Please work. Okay, nice. Just a quick review. This one's actually kind of hard. So there's 2 things we're differentiating. There's an if function and there's an if statement. If statement will be like a normal Python if statement. If function is like the customized version of how we write it. So the if function is different because it will call this function, if function CTF. But when Python reads this line, since there are those parentheses after those function names, it will evaluate those functions. So even though I'm just reading through this, it'll call T, which will print 5. And then it'll call F, which will print 6. And here, if if condition, notice how it doesn't call C or call T or call F, like any of those functions like down here, because down there, since they have the parentheses after again, it'll call those print statements, right? In here in this function, we don't have a parentheses, so we're not evaluating any function calls. We're just checking to see if it's true or false. So even if it's true or false, we'll just return the true result or the false result. Remember, when we return a print statement's value, a print statement's value is actually nothing, so we return nothing. That's why that prints 5 and 6. And then for the normal if statement, we call it inside this function, not through some evaluation like here where we're going through all these parameters. So in here, if C, so that means we call C because we have to read through it. So what is C? C just returns false, so we know it's false. So we skip through this line, we go down to the else statement, and then we return F parentheses, so we call the function F. When you call the function F, we'll print 6. So 6 goes up on your computer's output, and then remember the return value once again of a print statement is nothing, so we only get 6 in our output. So yeah, that was a lot of words and hopefully it made sense, but that's actually really tricky. Props to the person who came up with this question. Back when I was a freshman, I probably did this question, I just forgot about it, and I probably thought it was pretty stupid, but it is important to understand how, this language that we're using, Python, evaluates through code. So yeah, definitely a tough question, and we got one more to do. So before we jump into this last question, I just want to quickly thank today's sponsor, SoloLearn. So SoloLearn is the #1 online learning app for coders with over 18 million users on the platform. Learn a new language or level up your technical skills by just spending 5 to 10 minutes a day on the app. You can complete fun and engaging lessons, test your understanding through quizzes, interact socially with other members in the community, collect certificates, share your code, and much more. So get a job in technology and learn to code on SoloLearn. For me personally, I might have to go through some lessons to brush up my Python after seeing today's work. So yeah, download SoloLearn completely for free on either the iTunes App Store or Google Play Store, and the link will be in the description down below. Thank you so much again to SoloLearn for sponsoring the video, and let's finish this homework. Alright guys, let's finish strong, get this question right, hopefully. Knock on wood. Douglas Hofstadter Pulitzer Prize winning book, whatever, poses the following mathematical puzzle. Pick a positive integer x as a start. If x is even, divide by 2. If x is odd, multiply it by 3 and add 1. Continue this process until x is 1. So number x will travel up and down, but eventually end at 1. At least for all numbers that have never been tried, nobody has ever proved that the sequence will terminate. Okay. Analogously, I don't know how you pronounce it, sorry. A hailstone travels up and down in the atmosphere before eventually ending on Earth. Breaking news, there has been a reason all numbers will eventually get to 1, prove a major breakthrough. Okay, cool. This sequence of values of x is often called a Hailstone sequence. Write a function that takes a single argument with formal parameter named x, prints out the Hailstone sequence starting at x, and returns the number of steps in the sequence. A equals Hailstone 10, so we start with 10, it's even, divided by 2 is 5, 5 is odd, so multiply by 3 plus 1, 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1, 16. 16 is even, so it goes to 8, 8's even again, so go to 4, 4 is even, go to 2, 2 goes even 1. I think this code is just brute force, we just write out the steps, nitty gritty. So we just gotta print the sequence and then we gotta return its length. So we gotta keep track of the length. So int length, oh wait, this is not Java, god damn it. Length equals 0. We just keep going until x becomes 1. So while x doesn't equal, or while x is greater than 1, what we will do is, I keep forgetting this is not Java. I'm so sorry guys. It's no curly parentheses in here. Let me make this better so you can see the code. So while it's greater than 1, so it's either odd or even. So how do we check if there's a remainder? We can use mod from that earlier question. So if x mod 2 equals 0, which means it's an even number because when we divide by 2 there's no remainder. If it's odd, the remainder will be 1, right? We want to print x. So here we will print x because that's what we need to do in the sequence, and then we will modify x. So x equals x divided by 2. I think I need to do x double divide because it's integers, just like how we did in that earlier question. Otherwise, we're going to do that weird thing where we multiply by 3 and add 1. So you go x times 3 plus 1. And then, oh, we want to increase the length too. So normally with these type of things where you increase length and print stuff, should be at the end of the sequence or like end of the while loop body, because do your updates, make your changes, print it out. But we can see here, Hailstone 10, they want you to print out 10 first. So if we started with 5, then I would put this print and length plus equals 1 on the bottom. That should be it. We just return length. And let's run this Python 3. Okay, run that. I'm missing a 1. Oh, dude, I'm so dumb. Not while x is greater than 1. While x is greater than equal to 1. Because we want to include 1 in the sequence. Because normally, when you go to the end, which is when Hailstone ends at 1, when it was with the greater sign, I never printed or increased the length. So that's my bad. Let's do it one more time. Run it there. and we should be good. My computer's so slow. Oh my god. Oh my god. I infinite loop. Oh my god, I even fucking broke. Oh my god, I broke Python too. You know, because while it's x greater than equal to 1, it'll keep doing the thing where it goes back into the loop because it'll go to the odd part here, and then it'll make it 1 times 3 plus 1 equals 4, and then like it'll go back into the loop and keep on going forever. So we want to print this thing here, right? But if x equals 1, we just exit out of the loop. This is such bad code, but like it works. So I'm not going to say anything. In Python, it's break. So if it's a for loop, it's a while loop. If you do break, that means we exit out of the loop. Hits 1 here, doesn't do the jazz where it's odd and like times 3 plus 1 goes back to 4 and keeps on looping forever, and then we return the link. That should be good. Let's see. God damn, I did wrong. Oh, this is not Java. I'm so sorry, guys. In Python, it's not else if, it's elif. There we go. Once again, I need to go on Solr and review some Python. Run this one more time. Cool, 1 test case passed, no cases failed. Yeah, we finished. All right, guys, so racked my brains around for a bit today, and just want to say thank you so much for watching. Once again, thank you to Solon for sponsoring today's video. I kind of want to do another video like this. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Was this video helpful? Also, if you're wondering why the camera angle was this angle, it's because I actually cut my hair myself. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but if you go to the back, oh my sweet Jesus, you didn't see that. Anyways, have a great day. Peace.